Let's pray. Om Jai Shri Ganesh, Om Jai Shri Ganesh, Om Jai Shri Ganesh. Om Jai Shri Ganesh, Om Jai Shri Ganesh, Om Jai Shri Ganesh. Om Jai Shri Ganesh, Om Jai Shri Ganesh, Om Jai Shri Ganesh. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsat Vitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayate. Om Triyambakam Yajahamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukaveva Bandhanam Mrityurmuksham Amritate. Om Suklam Bharadaram Vishnam Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanavatanam Diyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Agajanana Padmakam Gajanana Maharnisham Alekarantanam Bhaktanam Yekarantam Vasmale. Om Namo Bhagavate Veshaje Guru Venturya Brahmarajaya Tathagataya Harate Samyak Samudaya. Sajata Om Veshaje Veshaje Maha Veshaje Veshaje Niraja Samunyate Swara. Om Shanti 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 Om. Take a deep breath. There is love in this world, there is love. And on the pretext of letting go of desires and attachment, we have let go of love itself, which is an insult to creation, as it was meant to be. So let us love. Attachment is cool until you realize it hurts. It's awesome. We went up to Swavardhani. So we'll pick up at Sangha Parikshani. Investigating of the Sangha. The M with a dot is between the M and the N. That's the inexact but easier to understand way to explain it. Alright, we won't go into Sanskrit phonetics right now. So, Samga and Sanga and Sangha and Sangha is all a community, okay? It's the four ways to write the same thing depending on tradition, culture, Sanskrit dictionary you use, where in India or all around it comes from, if it's 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 or just 500 years old, because it changed, it evolved, okay? So, investigating the Sangha. Okay, so if something is wrong, you have to spot it and tell him? No, can't be that. So, the word to investigate, in this case, parikshan, okay? To investigate, you know what is an investigation? The energy and the effort put in really identifying clues to which that will lead you to find the truth. It's much more clear if we use the word to investigate objectively, okay? Parikshani is to objectively seek something. So investigation is the proper attitude to do personal growth. If we consider that parikshani is under Swavartani. And Swavartani is the endorsement of responsibility of what you experience. The investigation is about yourself. Why is it investigating the Sangha? The study of people. So it's not just your personal growth, but it's the study of anyone's behavior. Investigating the Sangha does not mean to find a culprit. Because with all the first parts, there's no offense or defense about the entire process. Investigation, in this case, becomes the science of psychology. The study of people. Okay? So, now that with the 11 first lines of that Dharani, you took care of becoming responsible of your experience. Now you want to understand people as a whole. Because you'll see afterwards, it will be about existing in this world and collaborating with this world. So it starts with you as a desire to grow as a person. And then really do your best to understand others. Now, understanding others is not the easy answer, oh, I understand you. You know, try to be understanding as a hypocrite way of masking that you don't really give a shit. We're talking about being so serious at understanding that we call it an investigation. Okay? Because you're not investigating a crime. You are investigating sociology, or the art of community. It's a much more serious process, the Sangha Parikshani. It's a more serious process than to try to understand just one person, which is yourself. It will be understanding the dynamics of interaction between people. Okay? Sam is all, or every, or total. Sarva means complete, or everything. But Sam also means all. It's a diminished version of Sarva, if you want. So Sam is every, Ga is where, or go. Like gata is to go, Ga is that moving part. So Sangha is where we go. So the world, but around, you know, where we go as people. This is the origin of the word, okay? You don't need to remember the etymology of every little thing I explained because it doesn't really matter. It's just to put a bit of spice on each component. So investigating where everyone goes, or what's going on where people are, okay? It's that investigation. So it's a serious desire to discover what's going on through investigating. So to be more serious, as much as you're severe with yourself, in compassion, of course, so there's no violence in that severity. You are serious, you're dedicated. And now it's not just about you. Because with that 12th line, there's a going into the world. That's Sangha Parikshani, okay? Breathe. And feel that seriousness. Are you really wanting just to evolve for yourself? I gave that speech about if you want to enlighten only for you, you won't enlighten because it's way too egocentric. You enlighten because suffering stops. It's not about you. Okay? But you are the only component that you can master in this world. You can't master someone else. So if you can only control or master this self, then this mastery will be your tool on how you make everyone better. But to make everyone better, you must pay attention to understand this world through a proper investigation. That investigation cannot be done through blame. It has to be done through dynamic understanding, or understanding the dynamics. You know, this happened, no one want to hurt anyone. Oh, so personal growth stops being just about you. It's about, now what about the other? What's the other doing? This will also help you understand your reaction. When you see the other didn't want to hurt you, they just want to please themselves, which is not the same. You think someone hurts you, but they don't want to hurt you, they want to please themselves. When you hurt someone, you just want to please your own desires or attachments. Right? And then someone else is hurt about it, they say, you hurt me, as a victim. But actually you don't want to hurt people, you're just addicted to your own immediate entertainment, pleasures, insecurities, fears, desires. You have your own motivations for trying to care for yourself. So your immature caring for yourself is interpreted by others as offenses because of their immaturity. Understanding that dynamic will allow you to accept forgiveness. Like we explained yesterday, that everyone is just doing their best and we're making steps, baby steps. If you're just trying to survive, protecting your interests, trying to avoid your suffering, without the maturity to care for the consequences on others, then of course you will hurt others. You didn't want to, but it happens. Okay? So investigating society in its way, in the way it functions. Now, the Sangha starts as a couple, then as a family, then as a small community, and then as a country, and then it becomes politics. But politics without political engagement. It's just the understanding of the world. Okay? We get this Sangha Parikshani? It's good. It's a broader understanding of, okay, to get better in life, it can't just be about you. Next one, Sanganargadani. Okay, so not destroying the Sangha. Investigate the Sangha, not trying to destroy it. That's basically, it's saying that this investigation is not police work. Okay? It's therapy. Okay? It's personal growth. Let's go in deep nonetheless in that. The Sangha remains a Sangha. Nirgatani. Okay, don't. So nir is not. You know the word nirvana? We think nirvana is heavens or a plane. Nir means not, and vana means return. Okay, so nirvana means I'm not gonna come back. So it's not heavens or hell or a plane or a world. Nirvana means you reach a state where you won't come back to be born. That's what the word nirvana means. It doesn't mean, you know, the seventh orgasm in your day or you know, whatever you can describe nirvana as you believe it's. Nirvana does not mean fun or pleasure. It doesn't mean that. It means I won't come back. You know, there's Arnold who will come back. I'll be back. Okay, then I won't be back. That's nirvana. Okay, so it's not necessarily pleasant or entertaining. Nirvana. Okay, just means I won't come back. It's not what you say when you are severely in love and you want to say, oh, I'm in nirvana, I'm in the heavens. No, it's something you say to a shop that you are dissatisfied with their service. Oh, nirvana. I won't come back. Okay? So, just to understand these little words, unless you study a bit of Sanskrit, you get confused with all these things. Right? You know, namaste is, oh, I greatly bow to the Supreme Divine Being that you offer my Supreme. No, it just says hi. That's the only thing it means. Okay? Namaste says hi. So don't get caught up in the misunderstanding of the translations, right? Because not the old Hindu, but the new Hindu in just the last 1,500 years. It really evolves slowly, but it does. They take every word and make a phrase out of it. So you can have a few lines in a mantra and you get up with a paragraph translation like almost a page. Okay? So be careful with that. So Niladgatani is not going to hurt anyone. Okay? So Sangha Parikshani Sanganargatani means investigate the Sangha, making sure no one gets hurt while you do. So what is this asking you to is to develop a form of discernment on not provoking people while you try to understand them. Because when Sakyamuni instructed that priests should understand the people and try to study them, now they went to question, come on, tell me what you did yesterday, or you know, they went into a way of going too personal in their interaction, and because it's a priest with authority, it seemed to be intrusive in their private life or arrogant. So you need to find the discernment of wanting to understand the people while making sure they won't be aggressed by your personal growth process. So you have in those two lines my philosophy of non-propaganda that I often tell you about. If you're a priest, you should dare to speak about spirituality to people. However, never speak of spirituality to someone who doesn't want to hear about it, because that's arrogant. So if you want to be free as a being, you must respect other people's free will. So when I tell you don't do propaganda, the only reason why people should learn about MahaVajra is because of a certain interest in personal growth, whatever it is. Now as a priest, you need to find an expedient means to make people know about spirituality, your own or any other. Just have fun, but never go into this place where you start to bug people with your questioning, with your philosophy, with your expression. Well, I believe in God, or I don't believe in God. This thing about knocking on people's door to tell them your point of view is unacceptable in the Buddhist original teaching. Okay? It says you must find a way to understand the world and interact with this world without ever the world feeling aggressed or disturbed by these interactions. Therefore preserving the free will and the discernment for everyone. Okay? So I'm really encouraging you all to share your experience you live in our groups, and to have the discernment. The moment someone doesn't really feel like it, shut up. You don't like to be bugged by another philosophy who is, you're an evil Buddhist, Jesus can save you. You don't like to hear that, man. Well, don't go bug don't go bug people with your philosophy. Okay, you get this? Now, the investigation, not destroying the Sangha, it's more than not destroying, it's make sure that it is constructive while you do. Okay? So, Nirgatani literally means don't destroy. But in Sanskrit, there's often double negation, like instead of saying in a state of simplicity, they would stay in a state of non-complexion. Okay, or non-action. Instead of letting go of results, they would say, do it as a non-action. They have these little things. So, Nirgatane means be constructive. Okay. It's beyond not destroying it. Because if you're not constructive, you don't care. It really means it has to be a constructive process. Now, how is this process constructive? Asanghe. Now, this is the part you don't really want to learn about. There is an insult to the Buddhist wisdom and even the virtuous behavior to interpret Asanghe as disinterested or indifferent. Sometimes we have divine indifference, and we think Asanghe means unattached or unaffected or not emotionally taken or inspired by the either Sangha, so not really to give a shit. That's a misunderstanding, okay? It's not the word Asanga, it's the word Asanghe as a verb. Okay? So now we'll understand Asanghe. What is Sangha? It's the people. But what is the word people if it's a verb? What is the verb people? Breathe. If people was a verb, you people someone, doesn't mean you copulate, doesn't mean you interact, doesn't mean you pay bills. The verb community, is it about communion? I don't know, it's about this interaction we have in the community. And the verb community is whatever happens. Okay? So Asanga would mean to be detached or indifferent, meaning because it would mean there's no Sangha. But this is not the word Asanga. It's the word Asanghe. Sangha as a verb. Which means there is no drama. There's no implied interaction. There's no implication of you. Meaning, you are not important in that process. Investigation. Breathe. Then it becomes to be detached. But it's not detachment from indifference or carelessness. It's detached through simplicity and humility and vulnerability. Endorsing the adande verb of the first line. Okay? So to let go of the idea of your interaction, of your importance in that process of community as a verb. It's a Zen paradoxal or maybe ironic approach. You see that when we practice the siddhis, that's a siddhi. That's the fourth siddhi. To sit in asanga, let's do a little contemplation now. Consider in that siddhi that you let go of everything you want. Although you might have it, if you work for it, it's okay. But you let go of how important is it to satisfy your desires. Oh, we get to insatisfaction. We're teaching on satisfaction and insatisfaction, huh? Is it so important to answer your desires? You know those behaviors that people describe as offense? While you didn't want to offend them, you just wanted to satisfy your desires? And that investigation of the Sangha in a constructive way is to care for how they will experience it, and then you let go of your importance in the dynamics of the community. Whatever you do for the whole. That includes you, but it's not exclusive to you. And it's not motivated by satisfying your desire. It's about everyone's equal right to satisfaction. Asanga, let go of egocentrism. Let go of self-importance. Asanga is no value of you in the community. Only the community has value, but you alone don't have value without other people to tell you you are worth something. So Asanga is also about no self-importance. There's self-worth in the positive side, gratitude, feeling satisfied with your work. You know the good pride? The good pride is when you're proud of yourself and you don't need anyone to tell you that you did a good job. That is not the vicious pride. It's the good pride, just because the word pride is used in many ways in English. It's to have gratitude for yourself, to be satisfied. I feel good because I did something good. That's good pride. But it does not require anyone's interaction. The vicious pride is that need for outside gratification, for the Sangha to interact with you in that constructive way. Of wanting to be the one to be validated. You know, you do something good, you want everyone to validate you as a good person. Hey, did you see what I did? Is it good? Do you like my cake? Was I good enough in bed yesterday for that 2 minutes? You know, and you feel really affected. Males have this regarding sexuality a lot because they feel that their male pride needs to be validated by a female. For the women, it's all about the cooking and taking care of. You know, do you like me? Will you still treat me as a princess? So that goes very far. Asanga is to contemplate the letting go of that social worth or interaction where you have some kind of importance to others. When you are alone, you are worth nothing. When you care for others, your value is the value of the whole of creation. Okay. So we're not doing siddhi now, we're doing contemplation. I'm talking a lot, but I want you to feel, okay? When someone says they love you, would they love you if they had never met you? Of course not. Unless they have universal love, then they don't love you specifically. They just love everyone and you're in the bunch. So it's not target to you. So when someone loves you as a target, I love you specifically, they would not feel specific and target love if they never met you. Therefore, what they love is the interaction they had. Because without interaction, no one gives a shit about you. In other words, when you're egocentric and you don't care about the interaction, you're worth nothing. Because no one loves you. It does not exist. That is not possible. Someone loves you in a broad sense, then has different desires. With you I want to work. With you I want to be friends. With you I want to have sex. With you I want to work for to get a paycheck. It's different desires. And there is love in there. There is. But don't confuse love with the desires that make us target love on specific people. Without interaction, these people wouldn't love you. In other words, if you don't interact with the world, you're worthless. No one loves you. They love the interaction. No one has love for you as a being. They love what they get out of it. So when you interact with people, when you engage yourself with the Sangha, your value is the worth of the whole. You are worth everything. And when you are not engaged with others, or when you're engaged from an egocentric point of view, your value is null, absent. You're worthless. So your importance as a being matters only as a whole through interaction. And that is the feeling of asanghe. Not the verb community that you believe in. So in non-action there is an action, but it's not motivated by desire. In asanga there is sangha. In asanghe there is interaction, or there seems to be interaction, but it's not motivated by an egocentric desire. It's still based on the collective in a constructive way. So that is the feeling of Sangha. Now we go to Siddhi. You accept all the things we talk about, but you let them go for now. What matters is the feeling that you got of that conversation, and you contemplate Asangha. Asanghe. The end of egocentrism. Detachment from greed. Asanghe. And obviously there could be emotional experiences out of that. Breathe deeply. And slowly come back here. Now we're going into the idea of growing collectively as a couple, as a family, as a group, as a community, and then as a society. We continue class. Initiation is going good. Sangha Bhagate. Departed from attachment. Well, how about free from attachment? We need to understand more. So what's the Sanskrit uninflected and unaccorded? Sangha, okay, you got your community there, but there's no H. It's a different Sangha. Okay? It's not the community, it's gone. Apagate. Okay, what is gata? The word gata means to go. Tathagata is the one who just arrived. Okay, that's what it means, Tathagata. The one who just came the way he was. Okay, going in simplicity. It also means that, Tathagata. So gata is going or coming. Okay. Pagata is to go somewhere. So we say it's to go away, but actually it's to go somewhere. Apagata is either to really go somewhere or not to go somewhere or to go away. And Sangha is not the community, but the part of the group from which you go away or not, depending on which interpretation we'll decide to take from that line. Oh my God. In the literal, to let go of attachment is a good way to understand the easy beta. But if you understand Sangha Apagata, which is this people that you let go where they want to, or you endorse their freedom, basically. This one is highly philosophical and metaphorical, but it is to care for equality and freedom. Samgavagate. Yeah. Where everyone in the Sangha is free to roam, dwell, go, or be free. Then there's idea of non-attachment that Buddhists are very prompt to use the word attachment. Okay? We'll just let this one float in the universe, right, in your mind. Samgapagate, and everyone is free. That includes you. Okay? Now the fun line. Trivvasamgatulya harte prapti. There's another one later. Sarva satvaro dakajinigate. So, Trivvasamgatulya harte prapti. Equality for all. Oh my God, we start with equality for all. So the previous line did mean freedom and equality. Okay. You know, it seems to be to let go and get away from the world because you're unattached. It seemed to be that. But the next line, it reinforces it. The previous one was about the freedom part. Okay. We're reassured. Now it makes more sense. So, Samgapagate makes more sense if it's in the context of equality for all through the meeting of the three ways reached with virtue. Alright, what is that? This is too many words in a little phrase. What is that? Okay, so equality for all. Repeating in a different way actually the Samgapagate, okay? Tri Hadva Sangha Tulya. Adva Sangha Tulya is that, you know, Sangha equality. Three. Now there are three ways. Okay, in nature, in spirituality, and through divine interaction. That's one way of thinking in three ways. Okay. through physical, emotional, and mental work. That's another three-way. But this is a Buddhist approach, so what could be the three ways? The Sangha, the Dharma, the Buddha, which are the three jewels. Okay. So it's not only through the Sangha, but also through the Dharma, the wisdom, the teachings, and the law. And also through the Buddha, through your own spiritual practice. Okay. So they don't say three jewel, but they say the three way that the typical Buddhist will, or a typical person on a path would develop equity for all through, virtuously. To become virtuous until equity is ensured to all. Well, that's an invocation of, a metaphorical invocation of the three jewels. There are three ways. Now, why are the three jewels also three ways? It's when we invoke the three, when we invoke the protection. Sranam Gacchami means I take refuge by going to. Okay. So when we want to take refuge in the three jewels, we say that we take refuge by going into the Dharma, going to the Buddha, going to the Sangha first. That's highly technical stuff that doesn't really matter. So through your interaction with the community, but also through your study of wisdom and through your awakening, you develop virtue to ensure equality to all. Okay. So there's not much more to say about this one. It was more complicated in the way it is phrased, but it makes sense. Even the literal makes sense now. Equality for all through the meeting of the three ways reached with virtue. The meeting of the three ways means that the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha will meet. So then you have people who take that line and say, we have to build a religion and we have to do a Sunday service every week. Because the Sangha, the Dharma, and the Buddha will meet. So they want to get all people to do spiritual activities. Well, it doesn't say that you need to build a religion. It means that in the community, there has to be wisdom and there has to be Buddha, there has to be awakening. And they will meet. At one point they will meet. And the way they say it here, it means that trust evolution. Don't worry, they will meet. Okay. Not that you're necessarily the one who will cause it. It would be cool if you were the one to save the world. But I believe the world will save itself as we collectively grow. Okay. There's not a single savior or great being of this world. Okay. And now the Christians hate what I just said. Are we okay with that? Read. Sarva Sangha Tikrante. Okay, so Sarva Sangha Samatikrante. Transcending all attachment. How did they come to that one? I don't know. This one confuses me. I mean, transcending all attachment, we just demonstrated in the three steps before that every time we speak of non-attachment, it's not really about non-attachment in the immediate understanding, but about the disengagement of egocentric desire, side effect of which seems to be non-attachment. Okay, so we speak again of attachment. Let's try to find why. Sarva is complete. Sangha means, well, all of your relationship with the sun coming in, out, in my ears. My nose just reacted. Or maybe I have a reaction towards that phrase for real. It was not just theatrical. Now, I thought I was playing a game. Oh my God, what is that? I'm waiting for you to absorb wisdom and stuff, but maybe I do have a reaction. Oh yes, I spoke of it's not the attachment of the others, and I had this little judgment pop in my head about those who did the original translation who just don't get the pure Dharma. And who am I to believe I could have a pure Dharma? It doesn't matter. You see, that was egocentrism and arrogance. Thank you. I like mentioning it if I have a little reaction. because it allows you to see that I observe myself when it happens, and I enjoy sharing to real experiences. Okay, so what matters is result, and as we gain personally through this study, we know it works for us. That's a nice way to say it in my head. Now I need to feel emotionally this detachment of the belief that what we're doing is good and awesome. Because I really feel that what we do is good and awesome, which is okay, but then to compare it to others is my flaw here, and that has to stop, or else it's not the belief in equality. Okay? So instead of explaining to you this line, I'm explaining the entire reaction, the solution of which is that line. Good. I love it when it happens. So, samatikrante, sarvasanga samatikrante, it's to let go of, well, transcending in this case, samatikrante, the transcending of any kind of implications you have. It doesn't mean to deny. Okay, when you transcend in meditation, you don't stop to exist. You simply exist in a more refined way. So if we say transcending attachment, it doesn't mean to not have attachment. It means to exist in this supreme way. To transcend is to live your attachment in this sublimated, elevated spiritual understanding of attachment. It doesn't deny attachment itself. So transcending all attachment is not about non-attachment. It means to live your attachments in a way where everyone grows and that ensures equality in all beings in service to the Sangha, not having self-importance. Okay? So all this teaching that says always detach, let go of everything is the hastily, impatient interpretation. If we go to understand that the transcendence of attachment is not the ceasing of existence of that attachment, although some people say when you transcend, your ego ceases to exist, well, that is not the case, because when you come back, your ego still is there. Therefore, it did not cease to exist, it just went to sleep. Or just shut down for a while. Therefore, transcending attachment is not the end of attachment. It's to live them in a sublime way. And to live attachment in a sublime way is to live them virtuously. Compassion. Okay? I love this now. Sangha Pagate, Sangha Tuliyarate Prapti, Sarva Sangha Samatikrante. This part seems to make sense in itself, to live in this society, vowing to be, or making an effort to be virtuous, believing in equality, safeguarding everyone's freedom and rights to all resources, to all experiences, to whatever the verb Sangha could be, so Sangha. And live it virtuously in a refined way. So your interaction with people will be holy and blessed if you keep your mind on that whole interaction. In other words, you can't be holy and super awesome teacher of great Dharma in class and then become an asshole in the shopping center. You always believe in this equality with all beings. You never stop being a master once you're a master. Do you understand? Sarva Dharma Suparikshite. Now, this is fun because it's hard to do. The literal is indeed also the inflected and traditional chant and the interpretation of the deepest wisdom, examining all dharmas carefully. Referring to the investigation of Sangha, that was the first part. Let's take the clues we have. Investigating the Sangha is be careful and well implicated in your identification of the mechanics of an event. Like, the sun comes, makes me sneeze, while I'm playing a game of, oh my god, what is that? I'm so confused, and bam! It was a judgment I had. And I explained to you everything. Well, for me to examine the Dharma carefully, I needed to correctly identify the clues I had in my sneezing, in my way of being, in what the meaning of the phrase is, and the face of some of your people made at the same time. I took all the clues that I had, and I used that to be able to examine the Dharma. So first we examine the Sangha, investigating the Sangha. It's looking in this world. Then we move on, doing the same thing but with the Dharma. Then it won't be an investigation, it will be an examination, which seems to be like almost the same process in a different approach, right? Examining all dharmas carefully. Good. And it really means that. Sarva dharma suparikshita. Suparikshita in the verb of the action. Okay? Suparikshita is that examination. Parikshita is the discovery. If we, this is just a little grammar thing. Sangha parikshani, investigating the Sangha. Parikshani or pariksha is that discovery, that study, that examination, that, okay? And now it's suparikshita. Pariksh is still there, and the pariksh is that word of look and discover, okay? It's discovery through observation, that's pariksh. To do it in an auspicious well way, you will say suparikshite, okay? So supremely, suparikshite becomes examining carefully when parikshani was investigating. Just for a little grammar thing for people to say, oh, there is this word somewhere else in the prayer. Okay. For those who care. Sarva, sattva, rata, koshaligate. Okay, so sarva, all. Sattva, beings. Ruta, koshalyanugate. Well-being resounding in all beings. Okay, what is that? I don't even understand how they got to that interpretation. My translator is more competent than me in Sanskrit, so he understands why they would do this in a common conversation. I don't even understand it. So let's take on one component at a time. Every being, that's sattva sattva. And then the ruta, the anugata is the interests, and the ruta kaushaya is the well-being. So, sarva sattva ruta kaushaya, okay, interested in well-being, resounding in all beings. What triggers me is resounding. What is resounding? How can well-being resound? Obviously, we're not talking about going to a rave and feel good about it afterwards. It's not about that resounding, okay? It's not about sound if it's about well-being in everyone. Feel it. The sound of Dharma is silent, but it's not absent of a sound. The sound of pure wisdom is not a sound. You see, that was not the sound of well-being that we're talking about. That's the sound of the health condition. Okay, so if well-being could resound, do you sometimes feel good to the point that you still feel good 30 seconds after? And you still feel good 1 minute after? And you still feel good? And that feeling good is like a vibration? Like something that stays, like an energy, like a potential, and you feel fulfilled? That is when well-being resounds. The feeling fulfilled. The feeling plenitude. Does plenitude exist in English? No one knows?
It does.
It does. Plenitude is probably an old English word that no one uses. Fulfillment. You have to feel good, so accomplished, satisfied yourself. So, well-being resounding is that you could listen to it if it had a sound. Okay, that's what it means. That's a little typical Hindu and Buddhist way of saying that Dharma's sound is soundless, yet you can listen to it. Then you've got the Zen Buddhists who will go listen to the grass. They really do. It makes no sound, but they are paying attention to the grass while it grows, hoping for its sound, knowing it will never come. It's a Zen training, okay? So you've got this kind of approach. We will do a more profound study of those last few lines later on this week. Now I'm just throwing wisdom, and you see that it doesn't have as much sense, or doesn't take you as much as the first lines we imprinted. It'll come. If you just go with the idea of transcending all attachment by living them in a supreme way, making sure you study your experiences carefully, so that's personal growth, so that all beings can feel that. You're interested in all beings to become happy. Interested in the well-being resounding in all beings. You want everyone to be fulfilled. So we're talking about devotion. Okay? Praying for everyone to live this. So first it was for you. Dandapati, Danadapati, Sudare, Sudare. Then you have everyone. You have the others. The disconnection of your egocentrism. And eventually you will be satisfied of yourself too. Equality doesn't mean that you satisfy others. It means everyone is satisfied. That includes you, but must not be exclusively you. Okay? You will get satisfaction like everyone else. Okay? So egocentrism is not to be in a constant state of sacrifice. Egocentrism is for everyone to be in a permanent state of fulfillment. And find agile and strategic ways for everyone to be able to share into that fulfillment. Okay? Breathe deeply. And see how you collaborate this week during boot camp. Right? The last city, the last phrase is just fun. Simhavikridite, making a plating of lions. What is the feeling lion? You know what the thing lion, the object lion is. What is the feeling lion? Okay. Now you probably will have a misinterpretation by going roar, because roar is like 1/10,000th of his time is spent roaring. Most of the time the lion is just fooling around, enjoying life, relaxing, playing, a lot of exchange of affection between themselves, with a spark of aggressivity sometimes, and a sporadic hunt to kill. Okay? So a lion is not just the moment it puts its claw into a herbivore creature trying to flee. Okay? This is what you remember of lions, because lions could do that. Therefore, it's frightening if they do. So we have only this in mind. But actually, a lion is ready to deploy the required effort when it's time to go eat, regardless of the consequence, because it will ensure its survival. However, in general, it is a caring creature and very soft, very simplistic and relaxed. Okay? So I want to do a little joke about cats and dogs, just to help you, not to be funny, by the way. But it would be good on Facebook, for example. It's a joke. I've seen it there at one point. So, a dog looks at a human being and thinks, he gets me out. Yeah, you know, he opens the door for me. He picks up my shit. He gives me food. He must be God. You know, caring so much for me. The cat says, he opens the door, picks up my shit, he gives me food. I must be God. for that thing to just be in divine devotion, okay? So you have in exactly the same context the idea of the canine and the feline, okay? It doesn't mean to become canine, okay? I'm saying when we say we do platings of lions, we have to think of that feline approach where you want to believe that you're God, if others are cool with you, which is that self-importance, okay? And this idea of the drama, when you have to go work, when there could be suffering to acquire resources, okay? And every aspect of the verb lion, in this case it's the object lion, but a lion does things, okay? So that feeling of actually life drama and life events, not just dramatic, but it's all the animal impulse and theatrical implication in that community. You make a plaything of that. You decide to play with life events as they happen. This is what it means, simavikridite. It means to de-dramatize. Play with the lion, which is everyone, which is a sangha. Okay? To make it a plaything. So to see an event and say, oh, I just had a reaction, let's have fun, let's discover it. You know when you make your first integrations, you want to die? And then you make new integration, they're uncomfortable, but you bear with it. And after a few months, every integration is so awesome, you just want more. And you want more. And you just want the masters and the teachers to tell you everything you can learn about yourself. And it's all about you're arrogant, you're aggressive, you're violent, you're a victim, you're complaining. So, oh my God, I discovered I'm complaining. That is so awesome! And you have this little plaything, this simavikridite moment, you have it. And then it stops. Then it goes away. Then I tell my acharyas, for example, for 3 days, every acharya will tell what the other acharyas they believe should learn. And the acharyas, oh, not that period again of the year where acharyas help each other grow, you know. Now I'm going to have 27 people have an opinion on my behavior. They don't even freaking know me. And actually they end up, some of you do, so they do their talk. And I say my acharya will have this reaction, a bit like Frank had, is, oh, that time again, when we have to look at ourselves. Since when was it time not to look at yourself? Since when did you build the potential where discovering the new you was not fun? So you have this hellish trip when you discover to dwell inside you. Then it becomes, you know, discomfortable, then comfortable, then fun, then entertaining, then great. And then you don't want to hear about it anymore. You've done that. Okay, I've studied myself so much, you know. That's a reaction of the ego. The ego suffers his own condition. Cancerous cells do not enjoy being cancerous. So the ego himself becomes happy of feeling better through the integration. But at one point he realizes, oh my God, they get better by studying me. And now he gets it, that, you know, when you start to grasp the depth of the ego realizes, oh, he's sabotaging my sabotage. You know, what's going to happen? So we develop this potential of not really wanting to go again into that personal growth process and taking the life events as something that could bring enlightenment. You say, oh my God, I have to watch this again? Maha, I've been integrating for 2 years. Is my mountain done now? No, Ole, your mountain is not done. It was a path anyway. There are mountains, you know. Once you're done, it means you circled the earth, you're going to do it again. Do it again. So, simavikridite is a choice to enjoy and to remind you to play with that. Not to be disrespectful. You're not playing with people's emotion. You're playing with your experience of simha. Okay? Your lion, dramatic character. So we're going to contemplate the siddhi simavikridite. And just look at how dramatic you become when you see another part of your ego. And reconsider again, maybe I could just continue to have fun with that, you know, evolution thing. Simavikridite. If I just de-dramatize, it can be pleasant again. Or at least stop being irritating. Simavikridite. It's okay to enjoy the next personal growth event. It's okay to enjoy it. It's your pride. It's your pride that regrew. It's your pride that wants validation. Like if a new thing to discover and evolve meant that you were bad or not good enough, and you took it personally. These are the potentials that build inside to disappoint you of yourself. When you thought you did so good work in your spirituality, and then you still have an ego to live with. And you have this disappointment and also this pride of wanting to look great as a great being, and then you were arrogant again. The continuing denials resulting from the power of ignorance rebuild the potential to dislike evolving. Simhavikriti is to remember how good it feels when you do that awakening. To remember how great you feel once you are freed from yet another break inside. Simhavikriti. Plating of your lion, your animal. Make a plating of that. Enjoy it. To go back to the sandbox of being alive. With your little toys, with your little friends in the Sangha. Simhavikriti. If someone insults you, it's just a new game that open. You just file, new game. And you start a new character. You start a new board. You just roll the dice. You just open a new set for a theatrical play. To enjoy. If it doesn't look real, you would go through any dramatic scenario because it feels like a dream. It was just a board game, a card game, a joke to a friend. But when it feels real, you forget it's just a game. You take it personally. When it feels real, when it really feels like a real attack, you forget it's just another fun thing to discover. You would face any combat in a dojo. If you're a martial artist, you go to dojo and you face any combat. Now you have a street fight with someone who didn't ask permission, and then it becomes bad. Because you've dramatized. Huh? So, Simhavikriti dictates to remember you can have fun and enjoy this wonderful life. Okay? You little bitch. You're a good person. You are a good person. It's just your pride or your shame being offended again. Okay? You can enjoy it. Simhavikriti. Play! It's so fun. Play. Thank you. Take a deep breath. Come back.